we are back, but it has been a little while since we last uploaded the video. I hope you guys are doing okay. I think genuinely it's been about 150 days since we last uploaded a YouTube video, which is disgraceful, by the way, so I only apologise. But the Premier League is back this weekend if you're watching it when it released. If not, the Premier League's already started, so welcome back. And our annual Premier League predictions is about to be underway. Last year, I think I predicted every team to be right and the goal difference to be exact, so I'm pretty good at these. Without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Hello and welcome back to the channel, and like I said in the intro, it has been a while, but our annual Premier League predictions are back. As always, guys, let me know in the comments below what your 1 to 20 is, your top goal scorer, and let's do your player of the year and surprise package. By that, what player will surprise you the most this season, good or bad. You can let me know who's going to be terrible or let me know who's going to be really good. But make sure, guys, you comment, like and subscribe. I'm plugging it up for 2 minutes, but really helps with the algorithm. Without further ado, let's get into 20th place. And I think 20th and 19th, a lot of people are going to have the same this year. And it's probably gives it away a little bit. But 20th for me, I'm going Sheffield United. I know in this channel and on Twitch, we have a few Sheffield United fans. But I just think they'll go straight back down. And as a West Ham fan, I don't detest Sheffield United, but I don't like them. I just think they've sold all the good players. Ndiaye, is it how you pronounce it? And Sander Berge, I'm pretty sure, has gone to Burnley as we are recording this. Or is going to Burnley, if not already gone. But they have signed only one good player, in my opinion, which is Austin Trusty from Arsenal for about £5 million. They bought someone else for 10 mil, but I'm not sure who that is. I haven't watched him too much. But for me, bottom of the league and straight back down, unfortunately. I don't really like to see teams go up then down. I like to see them in the Premier League for a little while, but I don't think they're good enough to stay up. 20th for me has got to be Sheffield United. And following that very closely, I think it'll be quite a tight bottom two, if I'm honest with you. Just scrolling up to see who they've signed and who they haven't signed, so don't forget for you guys, I'm not providing false information. But 19th for me will be Luton. I'm gutted if they go down, personally. I wanted them to come back up. It was them or Millwall for me to come back up into the Premier League. And yeah, I think Luton are going straight back down. I don't think they've got the pulling power to get great players. They obviously signed Ross Barkley, which I think is a good deal for them. But I just don't think they're good enough. That's all I've kind of got to say about them. If I'm honest, I'm not sure I can go into a deep analysis about Luton, when in all honesty, I don't know too much about them. This is once again just me going off gut instinct. Until we got higher up into the table, if you ask me how I think Sheffield United and Luton done last season, in terms of actual playing style and standout players, I'm probably not the go-to guy. Championship isn't really my realm of knowledge, where obviously the Premier League is, because I'm going to get all this right, and you'll come back in May and realise I'm a genius. But 18th place for me now is Wolves. I think Wolves will go down. I think their manager leaving doesn't help. Ruben Neves leaving doesn't help either. I don't think they can invest too much of that money. I think they've got FPL issues. A lot of clubs have got FPL issues as well. I know they bought Boubacar Traore from Metz, and of course Matt Doherty has returned on a free transfer from Atletico Madrid. Obviously previously at Spurs as well. I think he'll be a good Prem player for them, a good player for them. But I just don't think Wolves have got enough to stay up personally, and that's where I think their Premier League journey will end. I think they'll come 18th this season. I don't even know who they've got in charge. Have they signed? Did I see Gary O'Neill was tipped to be the manager? I should have really looked. Yes, Gary O'Neill was appointed yesterday. I think he's a good manager, but I don't think they've got enough to stay up personally. I do like Gary O'Neill, obviously former West Ham player, but for me, that's my bottom three for the season. Now let's move on to the teams that have just about avoided relegation for another year. Now, coming in at 17th is a team that I don't think many people are going to predict to come this low. And that, for me, I probably will get some abuse if they finish way higher than what they do. But for me, 17th place is actually Crystal Palace. I had them tipped to be quite poor last season when Vieira was in charge. Roy Hodgson saved the day. I just think this season, a few players are linked to leaving. Obviously, Wilfried Zaha has gone. Eze's, at the time of recording this, Eze linked away. Elise's linked away. A lot of players linked away. They signed Jefferson Lerma from Bournemouth on a free transfer, I want to say. But for some reason, I look at Crystal Palace and think they might struggle this season. I really do. And for that, 17th place it is. Another team that I think will struggle, just one place above them in 16th. And to be honest, every year I hope they go down. I just think it would be not funny for the fans, but a good lesson in not how to run a football club. And that is Everton in 16th place. A new stadium around the corner means they probably can't invest too much. They've got Danjuma on loan, who was linked to them last season, went to Spurs instead. And I think they signed Ashley Young on a permanent deal, free transfer from Aston Villa. They're their only incoming so far. Who have they got rid of? Moise Kean for 25 million away from Juventus, apparently. I completely forgot he was even there, if I'm honest. Admir Begovic has left, forgot he was there. Yerry Mina's left, forgot he was there. Tom Davis and Josh Townsend and Iverson have all been released as well. So they have got rid of some deadwoods. But that means the squad is a lot smaller. And whether or not they can do well, I think Sean Dyche will keep them up. But I don't think they'll be pushing for sort of top half / top 12. I think the middle of this pack, in terms of my predictions of 17th to 12th, or 11th probably, I don't think there'll be much in it. I think it's a very poor season for these next sort of 5 or 6 teams. And starting that list in 15th is Bournemouth. And I just think they're a textbook Bournemouth side. Probably too good to go down. They've bought some decent players, but I don't think they're good enough to really push on to go for that top half finish. So I've got them as 15th because a few teams that I prefer personally above them that I just want to finish higher than Bournemouth. Remember, guys, this is a tactical knowledge you get on this channel. Who I want to finish where, not where I think something will actually happen. So Bournemouth, 15th for me. And in 14th place, a team I'd like to see do really well, actually. A team I'd like to do well, 14th place for me, is Burnley. I think Company done a brilliant job last season. I want to see how Josh Cullen does in the Premier League. He was a West Ham youngster. If you guys are new to the channel, by the way, as you can probably tell, I'm a West Ham fan, but I'm constantly mentioning their name. But I want to see how Josh Cullen does this season. Just looking at who else they've signed according to Football 365, the apparent source of all information. They've actually signed quite a few players. Obviously, James Trafford, the goalkeeper, is a very good goalkeeper, young goalkeeper. Obviously won them, or England, the Under-21 tournament in the summer. He is £14 million from Man City. Sander Berge joined, a good signing. I just think they'll do really well. Nathan Redmond on a free transfer from Besiktas. That's a very Football Manager style of transfer, that is. Got rid of Ashley Barnes. Got rid of... that's kind of... Oh, Wout Weghorst, of course. He's gone on loan to Hoffenheim. But I just like to see him do well. I think Company plays a good brand of football. I'd never wanted Burnley to go down in the first place. I wanted them to stay up. So them back in the Prem is good news for me. And yeah, keep them there. Let them stay up. Let them progress. I like Burnley. You need a team like Burnley in the Prem. Miserable journey up there. Miserable journey back when they beat you 1-0. In old-fashioned times, Company may change it a little bit. Maybe they're a bit more progressive. Maybe they're a bit more possession-based in the Prem. Maybe they just get ripped apart and finish 19th. We'll have to find out. But I'm quite excited to see how Burnley do. Obviously, they have their first game of the season at home to Man City. It was always going to be that, wasn't it? Company versus Man City, always going to happen. But let's see how they do on Friday, aka probably today when this video goes out. Actually, I will probably release it on Friday. 13th place for me, Fulham. Not much to say for Fulham for me personally. They signed a couple of players. Raul Jimenez has joined. There was rumours of Marco Silva and Mitrovic leaving. Whether they both leave could change where they finish. But I think for now, with the team they've got, the squad they've got, and signs they've brought in, and the manager they have, for me, 13th place Fulham is where I think they'll be. Now 12th place, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's paining me to say it, but actually West Ham, I think for the first time in I think every my Premier League predictions on this channel, you can go back and check it, I've got us down as bottom half. I've said 12th. We've signed Edson Alvarez and that's it. Brilliant transfer, by the way. Really happy with that. As of recording this, that's the only transfer. Obviously, we sold Declan Rice for 105 million. I'll get onto him when I talk about Arsenal in a second. Won't discuss him under the West Ham category. Really good sell. Made a lot of money. Just not buying him at the moment. And I do worry about Moyes. If it starts going south early. Also, Paquetá is linked away to Man City as of recording this. So I could be crying in 48 hours. Or I could be really happy that we've signed Harry Maguire, Ward-Prowse and just score every single corner we get. So we'll have to see what happens, but I've got them 12th originally. And it pains me even more so because I think who will finish above them is actually Nottingham Forest. I just think he's a good manager. I think they've settled in the Premier a little bit. And I think there'll be a surprise team that will do quite well in the bottom half. And I've gone for Forest for that one. I could be completely wrong and they could finish way lower. But for some reason, Forest just screams 11th place. And if you ask me why, I don't know. I couldn't tell you why. Matt Turner's joined, Chris Wood has joined. He had to join, obviously, the clause, but 11th place, Forest. And on that note, let's get into the top half and see who I think will push for European places. So coming in at 10th place for me is Brentford. It'll be very interesting to see how they do without Toney up front for the first half of the season. He is back obviously in January, February time, probably getting fit. He'll probably come back at about January, February. I don't know who they're replacing with up front. I don't know if they've signed a striker. I know they signed a guy from Freiburg, but I couldn't tell you if it's a striker. I've never heard of him before. Apologies, guys. If you're a Brentford fan, let me know where you think Brentford will come. But I just think they're a decent side, a good manager. I just wonder how they do without Toney. And it'll be very interesting to see how they do. They might be a surprise package to really struggle, but they could be a surprise package and do really well, which is why I think I've put them at 10th place, middle ground, not too much of a risk. But talking of a surprise package and a team that I think might struggle a bit this season compared to last season in 9th place, I've actually gone for Brighton. I've gone for Brighton, which I'm sure a lot of you in the comments will be like, why have you put Brighton 9th? They're way much better. They should be 7th. But there's a lot of good teams, I think, this season. The top 8, I think, will be really good sides. And they've signed João Pedro from Watford, who I think will be really good as well. He might be my surprise package of the season. We'll talk about that at the end. But for me, I think they'll struggle with the balance of Europe and Premier League. It's happened a few times with other clubs. Look at West Ham last season. So I've gone for 9th place for Brighton. Talking of European struggles, or balancing European football with Premier League football, 8th place, I've gone Newcastle. Yeah, you're right. Champions League side finishing 8th. I just think it will happen. I think it was all too good to be true last season, was my opinion. And I just think, just maybe, they might struggle. They did sign Harvey Barnes from Leicester. Who else have they signed? They have signed Tonali, of course. I forgot about Tonali. 52 million signing. Just completely forgotten about by myself. And Livramento from Southampton as well. Interesting to see how he does. He's just returned from a big injury. But I've gone 8th place for Newcastle. But teams probably from 4th to 8th possibly could all interchange. I think it's going to be really tight, 4th to 8th. So you've kind of got 17th and 11th, really tight. 10th, 9th, land their own. 8th, 4th, really tight. 1st and 3rd, miles away from the pack. So we've got Newcastle on 8th. 7th place, we've gone for Villa. I think it depends if Emery stays. I think Emery will stay for this season, personally. I think he will move on soon, though. If he does go during the season, I think it could be the end of Villa being a good side, without being too harsh. Maybe if Ollie Watkins leaves, if other clubs are in for him, that could affect them as well. Buendia obviously got an ACL injury. Could that affect them? Maybe. I don't think it'll be too bad on their season. But I've gone for Villa in 7th. Obviously, they've got to balance Europe as well. But I personally think they'll be out of Europe kind of early. They'll play a weakened side, get caught by a lesser side, and end up being out, then focusing on the Prem. And I think they'll get another good finish. And I think they'll finish 7th, which pains me because really West Ham should be in these spots. But I just don't see him anywhere near it. Anywhere near it at all. But in terms of top 6 now, I have gone for Spurs at top 6. I've been seeing them closely in pre-season. I do think Postecoglou had done a really good job so far in pre-season. Now, as you guys know if you follow the channel, I don't care about pre-season too much. As long as, for me, as a West Ham fan, if no one gets injured, I'm happy with it. If we play badly, it's obviously annoying to watch. But I'm not going to be all and end all that we lose a pre-season game. But Spurs do look good in pre-season. They've signed some decent players, signing some decent players as well. So personally, I think they'll do very well. It depends if Harry Kane does leave or stay. At the time of recording this, there are Fabrizio reports that he might be going Bayern Munich. God knows what's going to happen with that. But at the moment, with the current squad Spurs have got, and with Postecoglou looking quite promising, I've gone for Spurs top 6. Not quite Champions League, but I think they'll get Europa League this season and have a good season as well. 6th place is a good finish considering where they were last season under Conte and Ryan Mason towards the end of the season. Now in 5th place, so we've got the last 5 teams. We've got Chelsea, United, City, Arsenal and Liverpool all to go. And in 5th place for me, I have gone for Liverpool. I don't think they're a good enough side to reach the top 4. At the time of recording this, like I say, I don't think their midfield is good enough to push on, really. I don't think they've got a good enough holding midfielder to get that top 4 spot. I mean, McAllister and Szoboszlai are a good partnership, are good players, but I just don't think they've got it in their team to really push for that top 4 spot. And I think it'll be another season without Europe or Champions League for Liverpool. And I think they'll do well in the Europa League. Maybe they get it through Champions League through winning Europa. I don't think so, though. I will do my European predictions possibly in another video soon. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments. But I've gone Liverpool 5th for me. And the top 4 is upcoming now. Surprise package. I think Chelsea get top 4. I think Pochettino's a good manager. They've signed a couple of interesting players. They've got a weird squad. But for some reason, I just think they'll get top 4. I don't see a world where Chelsea just struggle for years upon years in the Premier League era. Obviously, before the Premier League, they did struggle for years and years. But I've just got a small feeling Pochettino will just kick him into gear and they'll just finish 4th and just have a really good season. I don't know why I think that. I think that Jackson guy looks promising up front for them. And I'm going Chelsea 4th. And 3rd place, so we've got top 3. We've got it between United, Arsenal and City. And in 3rd place, I'm going for Arsenal. They've signed a sideways passing merchant, in my humble opinion. Declan Rice for 105 mil. West Ham have robbed them. I think they're going to do rubbish. No, I think Rice will be a very good signing for Arsenal. But I do think I just think they'll come 3rd. I don't think they'll push City towards the end like they did last season. They bottled it, frankly. Sorry, Arsenal fans, if you're watching it. They did bottle it. They have got a good squad. Kai Havertz will be an interesting one to watch. I think it'll be so frustrating for an Arsenal fan to see how many chances he missed. But he will get a lot of chances. So maybe, just maybe, he might score goals and do well for them. I think Jesus might be out injured again from what I saw online. Don't know if that's confirmed or not. Timber has signed for 35 mil. He done pretty well in the Community Shield. I will say that one on Pens versus City was break there. But for me, Arsenal 3rd. I just hope they don't do very well. And 3rd is the most realistic place I can put them without them being like 8th. And I go, oh, still rubbish, because Declan Rice will carry them. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Declan Rice will carry them completely. In 2nd place, we've got between both Manchester sides, top and 2nd. But for me, 2nd place is a given. Man City win the league, so Man United have got 2nd place in my Premier League predictions. I just think they'll be really good. I think they'll just grind results out. I think they'll sign a couple of good players. Mason Mount, I think, will do well. Onana will do well, improve on the mistakes done by David De Gea. Rasmus Højlund, I think that's how you say it, could be really good. He's currently out injured with a back injury at the time of recording this, like I say. So he could be a really good striker for them. The window's not shut. They are selling players like Maguire, possibly McTominay. So they will get more funds. I think Ten Hag's a decent manager. So I'm going United 2nd. And it could come back to haunt me. Because I don't really like United. But I just think they're just going to win games. I think they'll just win games 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, constantly. Put a good run together like they normally do. And end up coming 2nd and getting Champions League football. That's how I see the season going. And of course, 1st place, Man City. I think they'll walk the league. If they get Paqueta or Paquetá, they'll walk it even further. I wouldn't be surprised if they went invincible. That's my call for the season. I just can see Pep being like, we've won the treble. Let's just do something else. Let's get a new achievement. Let's go invincible. Let's win every game by more than 2 goals. I think they'll just, wouldn't be surprised if they were invincible. It'd be hard to do. I don't see it actually happening, but it wouldn't surprise me. Kovacic has come in. He's rumoured to be injured. Gvardiol has come in. I mean, 77 mil in the centre half like that, and I don't even care. Like, it's so easy for them. But that is my 20 positions in the Premier League predictions this season coming up. Now let's move on to top goal scorer, best player, and surprise package. So for me, the top scorer of the league, I think it's a given. Most people say I think Erling Haaland will be the top scorer. He's so good that it's kind of become normal how good he is. I think he'll get another 30 plus goals in the Prem if he stays fit, which I think he will. I think he'll score 32 this season. And I think City just walk the league, as simple as that. And I think the best player, I could see if Haaland had another good season, like he had, I think he'll win best player as well. But to spice it up a little bit, I think it might be a Man United player, because they've come 2nd. So maybe, what United player? I think Rashford could have a good season. I really do. But I think it'll be a City player. I can't kid myself and try and go different. It'll be De Bruyne or Haaland. So I'm going to go for De Bruyne, because Haaland will get top scorer. And surprise package for me, outside of Obama for West Ham, the youngster striker who will absolutely take the league by storm and probably get about 40 goals. I think the surprise package could be Mason Mount. I'm showing a lot of bias for some reason towards Man United. I don't like Man United. but I just got a silly feeling they'll do really well this season. And I actually think Mason Mount might do quite well. I thought he was terrible at Chelsea, but maybe he just suits them to a T. United, I know he's missed a few sitters in pre-season, but who cares about pre-season? When the season comes round, I think Mason Mount will do a good job at Man United. It could really come back to haunt me in a year's time when I watch this video and see Mason Mount with 0 goals and 2 assists be tipped as the surprise package. But maybe he's surprisingly bad. You never know, it could go both ways. But like I said in the start of the video, guys, leave a comment below your Premier League predictions, your top scorer, your best player, and your surprise package. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe because that will help out the algorithm massively. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you back here for some more football content. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.